Your little secret that you don't want anybody to know, you need to cut it out, because that is one of the reasons you're hiding from the world. It's one of the reasons you're not willing to show your face, because you don't want to be exposed. So the things that are in your closet, right? Your dirty little secrets that you think nobody knows, but your spouse knows and your children know, and it's being fully observed. And if you go on a Zoom call or you go on a FaceTime or you see someone in person at an event, it shows. And the reason I can say this is because when I look at the old me, I see it clearly as day now that I'm on the other side. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Diamond Life Mentor Podcast with your host, Balazs W Kardos. I'm super pumped and excited to be back in my home studio for this episode, the second episode of 2025, coming at you live. And I've been thinking a lot about this, and I figured that it'd be a great episode to touch on at the beginning of the new year, because most of us, we need this big reality check. We need the truth to be exposed before the lies could be ended, mostly the ones that we're saying to ourselves. So what do I mean by this? In this episode, what I want to talk about is that when you lie to yourself about anything, when you lie to yourself about your results, when you lie to yourself about your state of your health or your fitness or the results in your business or the actions that you're taking in your business, anybody who is where you want to be in that category of life knows you're lying. Now, this is pretty intense for a lot of people to accept or to believe what I'm saying. I'll give you an example. So if you are someone who is in peak physical health, okay, you are lean, you're strong, you train every day, and you actually already know exactly what it takes, what is required, the work that needs to be done, the diet that needs to be followed, the training routine that you need to stick to, the level of consistency and effort and hard work and dedication that it takes to achieve the ideal physique that someone might have for their body. I'm talking like 10% body fat, visible abs, veins popping, looking sharp, being strong, being athletic, those kinds of things. Now, that individual would actually recognize and know that someone else who doesn't have the results, doesn't look fit, is inflamed, overweight, has lots of body fat and so on, that person knows that when you're saying, I work out, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, they can see through the lies and know that behind closed doors, you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're not eating what you're supposed to be eating. You're not training the way you're supposed to be training. You're not hydrating the way. So all I'm saying is that the only person who you think is getting away with these lies is yourself, but everyone else can see through it. And the only people who can see through it are the ones who have those results. Now, let's use another example. In a healthy marriage or a happy marriage, the spouse, or in this case, let's call it the husband or the man in my case, I would recognize and know that if someone else's marriage or relationship doesn't look fulfilling, doesn't look happy, doesn't look like the guy is getting, laid enough, like as much as he would want, or the woman is not being treated the way she wants to be treated and respected and taken care of and things like this, someone who does have that would actually be able to recognize, here's the reason why you don't have it. Like, they would be able to tell the lies if you're saying, oh yeah, we're happy and we're happy. Does that make sense? And same thing in business. Like in my business, sometimes I listen to people and they think that they're telling me like their reasons for them not having success. So they have justified it as a legitimate reason that they are stuck, it's not working, they're not generating leads, they're not getting sales, they're not growing their business, they're not duplicating their business. But somebody who has those results can see right through it and just knows that you're not actually doing the right things. You're not actually following through on the consistency of the habits required to generate those results. Now, this is a really fascinating topic because we all have these areas that are considered like weaknesses where we give in to impulses. And impulse control is one of the most important aspects of results in any area of your life that is most often overlooked. It is this innate instinct and impulse within us to do things that give us instant gratification, whether that's eating a piece of dessert or cake or candy or something like this, when we know we shouldn't, when we know it's going to ruin our calorie deficit, or we know that it's going to mess up our workout or the results that we want. But that split second, that impulse, and we give into that and we do it anyways, is what needs to be controlled in order for you to get the results you want. Now, this goes for business as well, where you are sitting down and you want to get a completed task and you're like all psyched up and you're ready to go, whether it's creating content or following up with leads, and you get an impulse to check your phone, an impulse to get that instant gratification, that dopamine hit to scroll, to see what's going on, the FOMO, what are you missing out on? And giving in to that impulse and not getting it under control, or not preventing it by putting certain measures in place where like your phone isn't easily accessible and you can't just grab it because it's locked away in some time controlled safe, 3 rooms away in another part of the home, is an example of going to an extreme measure of like, even when you have the impulse, you can't do it. Or not having junk food in your pantry, in your house, when you have the impulse, I'm going to go in the pantry, I'm going to eat that junk, I'm going to go and whatever. You go in and there is no junk. So then you have to go so far out of your way to go get your hands on junk that usually that's enough to go, it's too much effort, forget it, I won't do it, which then keeps you in alignment with your goals. And the reason why I wanted to share this is because when we get to the end of a year, beginning of a new year, most people have the same goals. They have the same things they want to achieve, right? Some of you listening right now, your goals from last year, you didn't accomplish them. You want to accomplish them again this year. And we have to get clarity on why. Why is it still the same goal? Whether it's getting in shape, whether it's making more money, whether it's quitting your job or traveling or whatever. Because in order for you to actually achieve the thing you want to achieve, this level of clarity and self-awareness, and most importantly, this impulse control and being honest and recognizing that everybody knows, right? Not everybody, but the people that have the results, that have the awareness, they can look right at you and they already know what your habits are, right? Like, I used to be so round and so inflamed and so overweight that somebody who was in shape and healthy could look at me and be like, you're eating too much junk. You're eating too much takeout. You're not drinking enough water. You're drinking alcohol on the weekends. You're too stressed out and you don't have a way to decompress. You're working too hard and you're not recovering. They could just assess you because of your physical appearance, because of your energy, because of, and I find this really eye-opening for me personally, that I've started to recognize where I used to be, and looking at my old videos, some old content that I put out there, even just pictures from like events and things that were 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's embarrassing because the person that I'm looking at was on such a different frequency and such a different level of awareness, such a different standard that they held for themselves. And I recognize that as growth. I'm still proud of the person I used to be because eventually it got me to where I am now. And who knows, potentially, most likely, 3, 4, 5, 10 years from now, I'll look back at this episode of this podcast and what I'm saying and how I look and how I've delivered the message or whatever. And I most likely will be embarrassed of this version of myself also in the future, which is actually a positive thing because it means I'm growing. It means I'm being intentional. It means I'm always trying to get better in all these different aspects of my life. And so the question that I wanted to really share with you is, when you're lying and you know deep down that it's not the truth, you're only fooling yourself, okay? Your spouse, who you live with, who sees your habits, they know. They can see. You can't hide. There's no way you can live under one roof with somebody and literally hide every part of yourself, right? Because that's literally a fake life. Like, you are pretending to be someone you're not if you're hiding so many aspects of you. So the chances are you're probably not hiding who you really truly are at home, and your spouse can see. And you say one thing, these are my goals. This is what I'm trying to do this year. This is my New Year's resolution. And yet your habits, your actions, and the things that you actually do are in direct conflict and contradiction in front of their face every single day. Isn't that crazy? I think it's pretty crazy. And today's my wedding anniversary with my wife, and we've been married for 7 years, and we've been together for 14 years. And I was just thinking about this whole concept around marriage and how we date each other, we court each other, we get to know each other, and you're putting your best foot forward, right? You're making a great first impression. You're sharing your vision for the future, your dreams, what you stand for, what you don't stand for, what kind of family you want to have one day, what kind of parenting style or what kind of vision you have for the kids. And you get to know each other over the course of this period of time. And for so many individuals that I've noticed is they look at marriage as this lock, this ball and chain, where it's like you made it, right? You got somebody to commit to being a partner in life, to building a life together, and that you can kind of let off the effort, let off the gas, and just kind of coast and let yourself go and be comfortable and not really try in anything, right? You don't try with how you look, your fitness. You don't try with your goals or like getting outside of your comfort zone or trying something new, right? Or continuing to develop your mindset and your personal development. You just go into this mode of coasting. And it made me think how I think that's such a shame. In my opinion, when we lock arms or technically, put a ring on it, if you will, and we dedicate our entire lives to being with this other person as our partner, that should make you want to continue to strive for excellence, strive for greatness, make them proud to be with you because every year you are a better version of yourself. You're more fit, you're more caring, you're more loving, you're more understanding, you're a better communicator. You can just deliver the promises of the vows that you gave on your wedding day. And I was thinking about that a lot. And I think like what's so interesting is when we look at vows, right? There's this whole polarity in most people's vows of like through sickness and health, for better or worse, for poorer or richer. And so there's this polarity, this contrast of worst case scenario, best case scenario, worst case scenario, best case scenario. And you're basically saying through all of it, through thick and thin, through the ups, the downs, through the peaks and the valleys, right? That's kind of the premise of vows, is no matter what, I'll be there for you. I got your back and I won't abandon you or turn my back on you no matter what happens. But at the same time, why is it that after the vows, most people tend to be like, well, if we're poorer, fine. If we don't have that much freedom, it's okay because she'll be with me regardless, and vice versa. Or if I just stay at this comfortable cushion 9-to-5 job, it'll be okay. That's kind of what I did anyways when we met. And so the standards are low, right? The bar is low. The expectations for the future is small. And it's kind of this like, one day maybe we might get around to it, and life is passing by so fast. Years and years and years. The kids come and the kids grow and the kids are in school and the kids are finished school. And it's like you still have never done the thing. The dream, the promise, the ambitious conversations you had in the early part of your dating journey. What happened to that person? What happened to the guy that had the big vision? What happened to the guy that said, I was going to get fit and get in shape and do this and do that, right? That lit up your wife's eyes of like, wow, this is my man. I'm excited. I'm proud that he's going to be one of these rare individuals that strive to improve and to get better and to never settle. And in my case, I can only speak for myself at the end of the day. But I know that I have this deep burning desire to level up, to improve. And sometimes I hear these comments from my wife. She actually says them quite often, but she says these comments of like, you just keep getting better and better every year. You're like a fine wine. You improve. You are always kind of refining the processes and systems and habits and schedules that you're never content. You're never like, it's good enough. You're recalibrating the seasons of life. And she says these kinds of things to me, and I'm like, I'm so grateful she notices and she recognizes it, because it's true. I strive to be better, to do better, and to become better constantly. And I think that's really powerful, because when I look at the last 7 years of us being married, I'm a completely different person than I was 7 years ago. The day that she said I do is the worst version of me that she's had so far, which is really powerful to think about. Like, the guy that she decided to say yes to marrying has only ever increased in value like a stock, like Bitcoin. I've had ups and downs, don't get me wrong, just like Bitcoin has. It hasn't been all a straight up. I've had some very challenging moments. I've struggled with lots of things and so on and so forth. But over the long term, even with the dips, it's an upwards trend that I never ever want to stop pursuing. You know what I mean? And I was just thinking, like, what if people were honest with their vows on that first day according to the actions that they were going to dedicate themselves to in the future? And they actually said, look, I promise to always be comfortable. I promise to let myself go and to gain fat every year. I promise to not take care of myself and not go to the gym and not try to earn more money and set our family free. I promise to never try to be free and travel the world. You know, I promise to just go on social media and scroll and admire other people that have the things that we want, but I'm not willing to do what it takes to create those things. Imagine people's vows were that honest and that truthful. Would the other person still say yes? I don't think so. But because we have this almost like, it's like a safety net of richer and poorer and through sickness and health. And it's kind of like basically trying to encompass any option or any possibilities in the future. It gives people this like sense of optimistic hope deep down in their subconscious, in their heart. They're hoping when they say yes to those vows, they're like, well, I hope we're going to be on the richer side. I hope we're going to be on the healthier side. I hope we're going to be on the happier side over time. But I know that life can throw challenges sometimes, and so you know what I'm saying? And this tough love that I'm giving you, and this harsh reality check that I'm trying to give you, is that you got to start taking yourself more seriously. You have to really look at how can you improve. Look in the mirror, right? Like, if you're eating the junk and you're eating like the high sugar processed foods and you're like secretly thinking that you're eating it and nobody knows, people can literally look at you and see that there's no possible way that you're eating a wholesome, organic, grass-fed, healthy diet, because your body cannot look like that if you were. So you're eating the ice cream, you're eating the donuts, you're eating the candy, you're eating the processed junk, and it shows on your body. Literally the way you look tells the full story. That's crazy. Now, when it comes to business, same thing applies, right? Oh, I can't generate leads. I have nobody, no interest, no buyers. Show me your calendar. Oh, well, you're not doing the work. You're hiding. You don't want to be seen online. You're not putting out enough content. You're not being consistent enough. And interestingly, it's connected to the physique. It's connected to your health. It's connected to what you eat, because you're shameful around some things, and then therefore you don't want to be seen because you don't want to be exposed. Because you feel like if you go online and you show your face, then people can see through the lies and see through the bullshit. And you're saying happiness, freedom, lifestyle, health, but you're not a representation of that. People do not want to be you. They do not want to trade places with you. So how are you going to be successful in a business that's all about partnering with you, an individual? So when you actually go down to the specifics of what I'm saying, you need to become the best ideal version of you in all areas. You need to become fit. You need to become healthy. You need to become lean. You need to be consistent. You need to shed off all the body fat as much as possible off your body. You need to hydrate with 1 gallon a day of Kangen water consistently. You need to get your steps in. You need to do your personal development. Your mindset, your attitude, your perspective has to continue to evolve and be visible in your content, right? If you don't have the confidence, that's perfectly fine. But as you continue to do it and as you continue to show up, the confidence should also be transforming right literally in front of people's eyes, right? If you have a drinking habit or a smoking habit or a vaping habit or a marijuana habit or some other vice that is your little secret that you don't want anybody to know, you need to cut it out, because that is one of the reasons you're hiding from the world. It's one of the reasons you're not willing to show your face, because you don't want to be exposed. Does that make sense? So the things that are in your closet, right? Your dirty little secrets that you think nobody knows, but your spouse knows and your children know, and it's being fully observed. And if you go on a Zoom call or you go on a FaceTime or you see someone in person at an event, it shows. And the reason I can say this is because when I look at the old me, I see it clearly as day now that I'm on the other side. And I'm still improving. I'm still getting better. I'm still not exactly where I want to be. So I'm not saying that this message does not apply to me too. It does. It applies to every single one of us, because we're all one and we're all connected. But I wanted to really share this because it might open your eyes when you look at yourself in the mirror. You make eye contact with yourself in the mirror and you strip down butt naked. You look in the mirror. Your habits, your choices, your priorities, your excuses, your limitations are right there, visible, bare in front of yourself. And as you start to make the smarter, better, healthier, wiser, wealthier choices in your day-to-day life, the little things where you control those impulses and say, nope, I'm not going to do that. I want the cake. I'm not going to eat the cake, right? I want to drink the wine or the beer or the margarita, but I'm not going to do it. And I just went an entire year of zero alcohol in 2024. And I had the urge sometimes. It wasn't like an addict, like, oh, I got to drink. But there was those convenient moments on like holidays and trips where the waiter came by and had a bunch of margaritas on like a tray that he was taking to the person like next door. And I looked at it, I'm like, man, that would probably be pretty tasty in the sunshine. I love me a good high quality margarita. Impulse. I could have got it, but I said, no, you know what? I'm good. I'll just get a sparkling water with some limes on the rocks. And then I drank it and it was like a margarita minus the tequila. And it was actually pretty good. And so I'm not coming from a place of I'm better than you. I'm coming from a place of I've struggled with the same things that most people struggle with, right? I've struggled with having big goals and big visions and wanting something for my life. And then every little opportunity that an impulse sneaks in, I'd give in. And then I feel bad. Man, why did I do that? You know? And over time, the consistency of giving into the impulses actually compounds into the results we do not want, into the body fat we don't want. And guys, you got to understand something that's so important in this message. As AI continues to overhaul everything in our lives, in our efficiency, what's going to be more and more valuable are the things that AI cannot do. So AI is not going to be able to magically get somebody to be like jacked, fit, and lean. You know what I mean? It might be efficient for you in your business. So as there's all these AI generated content that's going to be going more and more onto social media, it's that authentic representation of, look, man, I've been here, I've been struggling, I've been overweight, I've been broke, I've been in debt, I haven't been happy with who I am, I haven't been doing the personal development, I've been giving into my vices, I've been giving into my impulses, I've been giving into my poor habits, but now I'm not. And that means that people will want to work with you and partner with you and get access to the transformation that they witnessed that you had, and try to get more and more access to you because you're real, you're genuine, you're authentic, and you're proving it that it's possible. And so that's really the message that I wanted to share with you guys is, do not lie to others thinking that they're clueless to what you're saying, because the results visibly show on who you are, how you're showing up. And if you start making different choices, those will also show. Okay? Now, when it comes to business, there's no possible way that you can continue to show up, create content, generate leads, have conversations, get on the phone, dial in your calendar with income producing activities, and not fail your way to success, not fail your way to generating sales in your business. There's only a finite amount of time that you can continue to do the reps and not get a result. That's the facts. And anybody who has the results knows this, because they know that when they first got started, it was hard and it didn't work and they didn't get the sale. They didn't know what to say and they sucked on camera. They didn't know how to handle objections and all of that. But eventually they figured it out. Eventually they learned. Eventually they asked somebody the questions to get the right answers, or they read the book, or they listened to the audio, or they did it again, or they got feedback, or they did it again and they got feedback, and so on and so on and so on and so on. And then all of a sudden they're like, I know what to do. I know what to say. I know how to handle this situation. And then the person says, I'm in. I'm going to buy a trifecta. I'm going to get a quad. And you're like, oh my gosh. And then if you actually go and analyze how long did it take, how many reps did you do, how many opportunities did you truly actually have, then you're like, oh, it wasn't even that much that I had to do this business to learn and understand how to be successful with this business. And so in every single area of your life, if you're going through the motions, if you're going to the gym and you look exactly the same as a year ago, you're not going to the gym correctly. You're not eating the right diet. You're not getting the right macros into your system to actually be responsible for the outcomes and results that you're trying to produce. Something is broken, because you can't go to the gym for a whole year and look exactly the same if you're doing it correctly. Does this make sense? So I'm really excited about releasing a new software, a new tool, a new app this month in January of 2025 that will be announced inside of GPM Base, which is another new software that we launched last year that is completely free for anybody in Enagic. Anybody in GPM can use it. You just have to sign up and go through the steps to get access to the free areas that are inside the base. We're going to be announcing how to get access to GPM Method, which is the next app. And exactly what I'm talking about inside this episode is going to be what we're going to help every single person create. We're going to help you create a customized protocol for your health, for your fitness, to get the lean, healthy, strong physique that all of us should have to be a true leader and representative leading from the front, about partnering with others and being able to help them achieve those similar results that they want. Because everybody in the world, if they had a choice to be strong, lean, jacked, and ripped, would want it and take it. But the majority of people are not willing to do the work. They're not willing to control those impulses. They're not willing to have the resilience and self-control to do it. But if you have that and you're willing to make it happen, we're going to show you how to do it with our new app, GPM Method. We're going to show you the daily method of operation for habits that will lead you to results in your business, and other habits that will keep you healthy, your mindset on point and developed, and also successful in your business. It's coming very, very soon. It's going to be the coolest thing as long as you follow the daily plan inside of the app with checklists and accountability and groups. It's just going to be the coolest tool. I've already been using it for the past year, and it's helped me tremendously in my life get better results. And so I had to recreate it, add my own flair and twist and a couple of different proprietary custom things to it in order for me to be able to share it with you and the whole community. So I'm absolutely jacked on releasing GPM Method in the month of January. So stay tuned, and let's crush it in 2025. Stop lying to yourself. Have the self-awareness. Take a look at what you're doing that is not serving you. Eliminate it. And literally show your audience, show your followers, show your spouse, show your friends, show your family, show everybody that you are going to be a different person by the end of 2025. You are going to completely transform in front of everyone's eyes. You're going to document the journey, document the experience, and be like, what's up now? Everything you want, I built. Everything that you said I couldn't do, I achieved. And when you get to that place in your life, which I'm already there, and I'm going to a whole new level once again, I promise you life becomes more enjoyable, and you literally feel like you are the king of your own life, walking around earth in full control of the results that you said you're going to create. If you say you're going to do something, you know in full control and full certainty and full belief that you can do it because you've proved it to yourself time and time again. And that, my friends, starts right now in 2025 for you to become this version of you that when you say it, it is already done. Much love to you guys. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.